Oh, well, Merry Christmas, model railroaders and rail fans, and welcome to December's edition of the Central Division. Hey, we're near the end of the year, and I realized I haven't introduced you to some of the Wagging Tails production team. So, got my wife here, and executive producer Tara, and she kind of keeps me in line. And then we've got two members of the Wagging Production Tails team around here. They might enter the camera shot at some point, but Christmas and Easter and our Chihuahua mix and our Chihuahua. And Christmas, we actually, we found him, about 4 years ago as a stray on Christmas Day, so the name just kind of stuck. And then Easter, he might not be in the camera shot here. He's kind of gone belly up on us. But we found him on an adoption site on Easter Day, so Christmas and Easter. And I tell you, it's just amazingly, Tara, I mean, the just natural camera and editing skills, I've never seen anything like it, so it actually worked out great.
Pretty good.
But I tell you, we've got a really nice show planned for you today. I thought we'd do something kind of special, that we're in the Christmas holidays. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, in the last couple of episodes, I've talked about the Railbox boxcar, and I was going to weather that with artist oils. I've never done that before, so I've actually finished the body of the car, so I'm going to kind of share that with you. And it's not going to be a how-to video. I want to go through some of the steps, but I want to get a little bit more experience under my belt, but you'll kind of get the gist of it, kind of what I've done, what's left to do, and hopefully a little bit more experience. I'll have a how-to video coming for you. And then also I thought, end of the year, we're going to do some switching on the layout, and I'm going to take you on a tour of the layout as we switch, and you're going to see things that I finished, some things I want to finish for 2022, and sort of to keep it in that Christmas mood. I've got some really cool Christmas jazz playing, so just be able to just sit back and watch the trains run, listen to a little bit of Christmas jazz. And I tell you, Tara, a week away, I think most of the shopping's done, but you never know. So what are you, anything you want Santa to bring for Christmas? Or?
I'm always good with clothes and jewelry. What about you?
Well, I'll tell you what I want. I really want. It's a Rapido Missouri Pacific switching engine, and it with DCC and sound, and it goes backwards and forwards, and has bells and a horn and these neat lights underneath the.
Whoa! You'll poke your eye out.
Fine. Give me a football then. Yes.
Okay, a football. We can definitely do that.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. But anyway, let's go take a look at that Railbox boxcar, shall we? Now, I modeled the 1970s, so during that time, a Railbox boxcar would still be fairly new. So the look that I was going for is a boxcar that had seen, some mileage on the rails and had the normal, fade and dust and grunge, but certainly not a rust bucket during that time. So what I did is I printed off a couple of pictures of an actual Railbox boxcar taken during the 1970s. Is kind of a guide and inspiration when doing this model. So the artist oil colors I used was a titanium white, which is just a good color for an all-around fade for most models, followed by a color that was very close to the actual model, in this case a deep yellow, and a contrasting color to that, the yellow, which in this case is a violet or purple. So before applying any color to the model, what you want to do when using artist oils is the first step is you want to give it your model a good coating of a satin clear coat. And I use Tamaya in this case, but there's other good brands out there as well. And you see here what I'm doing is a dot fade technique. So basically you're taking all of those colors that I showed you before, and you're just putting these little dots of the colors, all over the model. And it looks really funny, but it's kind of the magic happens on the next step. Basically what you do is once you have the dots in place is you take a clean, I used a soft brush, and you dip it in Turpenoid and you go up and down on the model, and it blends those colors in, and the fade effects once everything is dry just looks incredible. So after letting the model dry 24 hours, the next step was to apply a pen wash to the panel lines and cracks and crevices and along the model. So the first thing I did was give the model a good coating of a gloss coat. I used Tamiya, but there's other good brands out there as well. And I used an artist oil called Burnt Umber and mixed it with some Turpenoid to kind of get a good grungy wash. So this image shows where I've just started using a pen wash along the panel lines. And using a wash, what's going to happen sometimes is you're going to get the wash in areas that you don't want. Here you see kind of near the bottom of the model that's happened. But the cool thing about using artist oils is they take a while to dry. So anywhere that you've gotten paint, or in this case a wash that you didn't want it, all you have to do is just take a clean paper towel and wipe it right off. It's that easy. So after letting the model dry 24 hours after the pin wash, I went on to my next step, and I gave the model a good coat of dull coat. And then I used the Bragdon weathering powders. The colors I used are Dust Bowl Brown and Weathered Brown. A very light coat just all over the model to kind of give, the general appearance of dust and dirt that collects as the model rolls across the rails. And I went ahead, even though it's a fairly new boxcar, added in just a few rust spots. But I limited them to along where the door, when the door is opened, it might scrape against the side of the boxcar, and eventually, with that paint gone, you'll have some rust streaks there, as well as a spot on the left side of the door, which is sort of an oops that maybe happened, when the car is being loaded. Somebody got a little clumsy when using the forklift, who knows? But as a model of the 70s, you've got to have Herbie, at least on some of your cars. So I actually added a Herbie decal here to finish it up. So the very last thing before calling the body of the car done is just give it one more shot of dull coat, and this will seal as Bragdon weathering powders. And then I've got to start on the truck's wheels and couplers, and I'll share that with you next episode. Bye.